Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. Today we are looking at Business Central, and this is geared towards new users finding their way around the system. So I'm going to be presenting this for you today. My name's Ian, I work at TVision. I've been here for the past 6-7 years. And I've been using Business Central and its predecessors, Nav and TVision, for about 20 years now. And if you're new to the system, there's nothing to worry about. If you've used one of the older versions, Nav or TVision, everything that you've learned is still valid, and it just carries on in the new Business Central with a slightly different layout. Now, what we're going to be discussing today, as I said, this is aimed towards new users. We're going to have a look at what does Business Central look like, the look and feel of the product. We're going to talk about your role center, or the main page that you go to do your tasks. We'll be talking about navigating in Business Central, how to find your way around to get to the activities that you need to perform, how to customize your workspace, how to put shortcuts on that help you get there faster, how to lay out your page so it's set up in a way that's more suitable for you, not necessarily the same as everyone else. And then some tips on where you can find more information going forwards. So let's get into the demo. So I'm logged into Business Central already. So your IT department or your system administrator, somebody's going to give you a link to log into Business Central. You open that link in any web browser. It can be on Edge, Chrome, Firefox. It works on any browser. You open the link and it brings you to your role center. We call this a role center. You might call it your home page. You might call it your landing page, your main page. It doesn't matter what you call it really. It's where you land in the system when you open it up. So there are different role centers for different activities. So there's a role center that's geared towards people in purchasing, one for people in finance, people in sales and marketing. Now my system administrator, he's given me a role center that's geared up very much for somebody working in a warehouse, talking about transferring stock and inventory transactions. If I'm not working in the warehouse, maybe they've got it wrong and they've given me the wrong role center. It's not a problem. I can change this myself. I don't have to ask someone else to change this for me. So let's imagine I'm a sales order processor. I need to change my role center, change my home page. I come up to this little gear icon up at the top here, settings, and click on my settings. And within here, I can see that I'm logged in as the inventory manager. I can scroll through the different options that are available. There's one available here for sales order processor. That's me, so I'll choose that one. I'll just double check that it's in English United Kingdom, not in English American. If it's in American, my dates are going to be the wrong way around. So I'm happy that it says United Kingdom, and I say okay. The system's going to log me out, and it's going to log me back in now as if I was a sales order processor. And the system will remember. So next time I log in, it will bring me to this role center. It will bring me to this landing page instead. And now you can see all the words here about sales orders, sales journals, cash receipt, quotes, invoices, orders. It now makes more sense for me as a sales order processing person. So let's have a look at some of the things that are available on this landing page. Everything you see is interactive. So you have your menus up at the top. You have some shortcuts for creating new documents over here. And then you come down to these, we call them action tiles. You might call them, activity buttons or whatever you want to call these things. And it kind of tells me that there are there are 4 open sales orders. And as I say, it's interactive. If I click on this button, it will take me to the 4 documents it thinks I should be looking at and doing something with. And these are the 4 documents. I can do something with them. When I'm finished, whatever I'm doing, if I just click on my company name, my company is called Rodney, then it takes me back to that home page, to that role center. And it's the same for all of these action tiles here. There's loads of action tiles. And again, there might be too many here. And perhaps you want to change the way this looks and get rid of some of them. That's all completely customizable. And if you do want to change your home page, again, you go up to the settings button, you click on personalize, and now I'm on a personalizing page. And if there's one of these buttons, this user tasks, perhaps I never use this, I can hit this little red down arrow, and I can hide this element on my page. And maybe we don't use approvals at my company, so I can turn off my approvals action buttons. And when I'm finished turning things off, I can move things around. If I want to, I can add new things by clicking on this button up here. But when I'm finished customizing, I say done. And I've now customized this screen to look more the way I want it to look, more suited to where that I work. So I've got my action tiles, then I've got some insights and some charts, basically KPIs that I can keep track of to see how things are going. And again, this is equally customizable. You can customize each chart. You can choose to display them, not display them. My items, and again, even these charts are all interactive. So on this chart, if I click on one of these bars, it will take me to these are the transactions that make up whatever it was that you clicked. So you can always drill down to find something from your home page. So we've changed our landing page. That doesn't change our permissions. So if I'm not allowed to see vendors, giving myself a landing page that takes me to purchasing, it's not going to let me see the vendors there. My security is managed somewhere else. This is just about making the screen look the way that I want it to look. Let's say we need to do some task on the system. I'm going to create a sales order, for instance. Now, there are a number of ways I can do this. I come to my landing page, my role center, and I have a button here, which is create a new sales order. I could click that button. Alternatively, I've got a menu option up here that says sales orders, a shortcut menu. I can click that. It gives me a list of any existing sales orders. I can edit any of those, or if I want to, I can add a new one. Exactly the same as clicking the create new sales order button. This is also create new sales order. It takes me to the same place. Remember, click my company name, it takes me back to my home screen. So I've got this option, I've got this option. I can go into the sales menu and I can get to sales orders this way, and I can create a new sales order from there. That's another way of creating a new sales order. And if I don't want to learn where the menu options are, I can hit this little magnifying glass up here and I can search for sales order. And it will show me there's a create a new sales order button here. There's sales orders, which will get me to the list of sales orders where I can create a new one. So that's at least 5 different ways that I can get to what I want to get to. It doesn't matter which one you take. You choose whichever method is the most convenient for you, and you use that. At the end of the day, it's the result that you get that counts, not how you got there. So let's assume I'm going to click on this one. I can see a list of sales orders. Yep, I want to create a new sales order, so I click the new button. Now I'm on this screen, and all the screens within Business Central, they follow the same kind of logic. There's some general information you put up at the top, and the further you scroll down, the more detailed and specific it's getting. So first of all, it wants to know which customer am I selling 2. And it's asking for a customer name. So I could start typing in a datum corporation is one of my customers. As soon as I press tab, it's now going and it's found a datum corporation. It's filled in some default information for me. If I didn't know the customer's name, if I only knew the customer's number, I think a datum corporation is number 30,000. I can type in the customer number instead and press tab. Do I want to change? Yes. Do I want to change? Yes. And oh, I'm wrong. Customer number 30,000 is the School of Fine Art. But if I know the customer number, I can type in the customer number. The system's smart enough to figure out whichever one I type in. And if I'm really not sure, I've got those 3 little helper buttons. I can click that. It gives me a list of all my customers. I can scroll down, find the customer that I'm looking for. A datum corporation was number 10,000. If this is looking a little bit cramped on my screen, I can hit that double-ended arrow, make it a little bit bigger, give myself some more space. I choose the customer that I'm selling to and I say, okay. Yep, I do want to change this. So now it's filled in again, a datum corporation. Now I get a little bit more specific. What is it that we're selling to a datum corporation? I can sell them items. I'm not limited to items. I could sell services against a GL account. I could sell resources. Maybe I'm selling 3 hours of somebody's time as a consultant or as a cleaning service or something. I can even sell them fixed assets if I'm disposing of fixed assets. So I choose what is it that I'm selling to them. And again, so I've chosen an item. Which item? I can start typing in a description, a number, or I can search from a list. And let's sell them a guest chair. If I have warehouses, which warehouse do I want to send it from? I'm not using warehouses. How many do I want to sell them to? And it's going to fill in information. It's put in a default unit of measure for me. It's put in the unit price. It's figured out how much is the line amount for 2 of them. If I change the unit price to 100, it updates the line amount. If I change the line amount to 300, it gives me an error because it can't get 2 times 100 to make 300. So I will just refresh to discard my error, and it's back where it was. If I did make it 150, I would get my 300, and then I can still give them a 10% discount, which brings it down to 270. I fill in all the information that I need to fill in. I can add another item and another item. I can fill in as many items as I need. When I'm finished, I move on to the next step. Depending on the company I'm working for, I might be able to just post this document, which, you know, I put the stuff in a box, I send it off to the customer and I post this document. Maybe I work for a more corporate type of environment. I have to send it to my supervisor for approval. So I hit the request approval button. My supervisor can approve it before we can move on. Maybe I just release it, which lets the guys in the warehouse know that this order is ready for shipping, and they will do the next step. But whatever that step is, it's one of these menus up here. I work from this document. And I carry on until I'm finished. I go back, I can create new sales orders, I can create as many as I want. When I'm finished, I just keep going back until I get back to my home screen. So with everything in Business Central, there's always more than one way to get there. You can go through the menus, you can go through the search menu, and there's usually more than one menu option to get you there. Find the one that works for you. And if it's not the same as everyone else, don't worry. As long as you get there, that's what counts. Let's do something else that I might do on a day-to-day basis. I want to review my customers and see what's going on with my customers. Okay. So I can click on the menu option, or if I didn't have a menu option, or I wasn't sure where it was, I can go and search for customers, and it will get me to exactly the same place, whichever one of them I click. So here I have a list of my customers that we saw while I was creating that order. And again, I'm not seeing much on this screen. I can hit these two arrows to make it a bit bigger and spread out. And I can see list of customer numbers, their names, what country they're in, some other information about them, and I can see their balance. Now, to me, it would be nicer if maybe I could see the balance here instead of these things that aren't so important to me. Again, I can customize this page, make it look the way I want it to look. Once again, I go to the gear icon. I say personalize. Let's go and find that balance in local currency, and I'll grab that and I'll just drag it across and I'll drop it there. And this phone number, that's not so important to me on a customer list. I'll hit the little red flag and I'll say remove this from my view. I'm just removing it from my view. I'm not deleting anything from the database. So I can rearrange my columns. I can remove columns I'm not interested in. If I want to add a column that I am interested in, I click add field, and there's a whole host of fields that I can bring on. Maybe I'm worried whether a customer's blocked or not. Let's bring that onto my list. And when I'm finished, I say done. And now I have a list of my customers where the balance is clearly visible and I can see which ones are blocked. Just this test 5 customer is blocked. It's now working for me. I haven't affected anybody else in the company. They can customize their screens to look the way they want. This is just for you. You can't break anything by changing your view. So have a look, make it work for you. But once I've got my customers and I see that this Gaia Wind Research, they've got a balance which I wasn't expecting to see there. I can click on this number and it will take me through and it will show me these are the documents that make up the number I'm seeing. Oh, okay, there they are, interesting. And on any one of these lines, this invoice, I'm not quite sure what this was for 250 euros. So I highlight this line and I can click on process, find entries. And the system is now going to go through and it's going to find everything related to this line that I'm seeing on this customer's account. So there was a posted sales invoice, one posted sales invoice. If I click on that, it will actually open up that sales invoice and I can see what was it that we sold to them. And I can see we sold them some 25mm pipe. Okay, I didn't expect that. I can see that it's also posted things into my general ledger. 4 of my general ledger accounts have been impacted by this transaction. I can click on that and I can see all 4 of these entries in my general ledger for exactly how much they are. And again, there's going to be a sales account in there and a VAT account and a customer control account and a foreign currency account, etc. For guys in finance, they'll know which account is which, but you can click on it and you can see this is my income account. This one is my cost of materials account. So from any transaction, I can click on it, say find entries, and I can see everything that's been related to that. I can start at the general ledger. I can click on a general ledger entry and find out going back all the way to the original posted document, where did it come from? Or I can go and find a posted sales invoice. I can navigate, find entries from there, and it will take me all the way through to the general ledger, where did it end up in my financial statements? So you can always trace a transaction in both directions very easily. We've had a look at sales things. Let's have a look at something a bit more financy. So I want to go and have a look at my chart of accounts, my ledgers. And I can see I've got a menu option for it up here. I'm going to pretend that this menu option isn't here. I'm going to turn it off by turning off this little flag and going back to my home screen. And now that menu option has disappeared. So again, I can customize my menus to have the things that I'm interested in. If I want to get it back, I just search for chart of accounts. And notice, I don't have to type in chart of accounts. I just type in the first few letters and it's found chart of accounts. If I want that to be one of my menus, I can tick that little flag. And the next time I open my system, lo and behold, it's there as a shortcut menu. So now we've got that, let's click on it. And let's go and have a look. Oh, see, I've saved a shortcut to the wrong thing. Oh dear, let me turn that off. So even I make mistakes. And let me search again. Yeah, so I put on a shortcut to a report instead of putting on a shortcut to a page. So let me put on the shortcut to the page instead. And just to prove that I've got it right, I'll click on that shortcut. Yeah. Now I'm seeing all of my GL accounts, the number, the name, the balance, what's the net change, what type of account it is. I'm seeing all of this information. Again, this is customizable. I can change the columns, I can change the order of the columns, I can make it look the way I want it to look. I can look at the balance on any one of these accounts. So this income from product sales, I can click on that. I can look at any of these entries, and again, I can change these columns orders. Let's have a look at this £161.45. I highlight the row, process, find entries, and again, I'm going to be able to navigate all the way back to the posted sales invoice that got us here, the other GL accounts impacted, what it's done to my VAT entries for my VAT return at the end of the quarter, what it's done in the customer ledger, what it's done in the value entry. That's where things about items are stored. So again, fully navigable. From here, let's just get back to my chart of accounts. So I've got my chart of accounts here. I might want to build some kind of report based on what I'm seeing on the screen. Now there's lots of ways. This is kind of a trial balance. I'm seeing all the accounts with their balances. That's a trial balance. But I'm seeing it on the screen instead of in report format. If I wanted a trial balance report, I've got a menu option up here where I can get a trial balance, which is a built-in report that gets me a trial balance. I could go and search for trial balance. Let's see, trial balance. And there's a trial balance report, detailed trial balance report. In fact, there are 13 different types of trial balance reports on the system that I can go and run any one of these. Or if everything that I need is actually on the screen in front of me, I've got this beautiful button here called Share. And there are a couple of things this button does. A nice one, it can copy a link. So if I copy the link, it's actually copying this web address up here, which I can then put in an email, send to a colleague and say, please click on this link, look at that page and tell me what you think of the numbers. And they would click that link and they would see this exact page we're seeing here. They're shared to teams. You send it to a Teams channel, so everybody in your team, you can say, oh, click on this link, go and have a look at this, tell me what you think. You also have the option here to open in Excel. So you will notice what columns I have on here. If I say open in Excel, and just have a look at those first few amounts, 1,667, 447. It's created an Excel workbook for me. If I open that workbook, as fast as my computer can open it, and it's opened it on the wrong page. Let me just pull that up. Sorry. And you can see the exact same columns that I was seeing on my screen and the exact same amounts that I was seeing on my screen. There's the two that I just looked at. I have it here in Excel. I can delete the columns that I don't want. I can filter this. I can format it. I can actually turn this into a report. And you can do that pretty much with any screen that you're seeing within Business Central. You can hit that share button, send it to Excel, and that creates you a report. And that's a really easy way of getting information out. Let's have a look, finally. Let's have a look at a vendor. We've looked at customers, we've looked at something in finance. What if I'm working in purchasing? I'd be very interested in vendors. And you notice I just type in vend, go to the page about vendors, and here's a list of vendors. It looks very similar to the list of customers that we had earlier. And you can do the same kind of tasks that I was doing. So I could go, I can find their balance. Here it is. I can click on that balance. It will show me the transactions that make up that balance. On any one of them, I could highlight it, I could process, I could find entries. It would navigate me through all of the postings on my system that relate to this. So once you've kind of got one area down, the other areas work in a very similar way. One thing that you might encounter while you're working is the information box. So on a lot of screens, you get this information box, and it gives you extra information about the line that you're looking at. On my general ledger, there's not much information, but if it was a list of customers, it would have statistics about those customers or about those vendors. Let's go back to the vendors. So I go back to my home page. I've got vendors on my home page, so I'm just going to click on the shortcut, turn on my information box, and for this vendor, Fabricam, I've got some statistics. How much we owe them, how many outstanding orders we're waiting for, invoices, etc. We can see the number of documents that exist that have been posted that are still in process. And again, these are fully interactive. If I click on any of them, it will take me to. These are the 18 posted receipts that we've received from this vendor. So again, you've got an easy way of finding your way around the system and getting from one place to another. So this is pretty much what you can expect working in Business Central. It's very user-friendly. If you get lost, just click your company name and it brings you back to your home company. If you can't find something, just start searching for it. If you're looking for a list of items, type items. And there's a page to do with items. You get a list of everything that you sell to your customers or that you buy from your vendors. If you're really stuck, there's a beautiful help button up here. And this will take you to Microsoft Learn. And Microsoft Learn is a fantastic website. It has an overview of many things on here. But if you're looking for something really specific, so you're working in finance, how does straight line depreciation work is something that you're trying to figure out. You can start searching for depreciation. And how do you post depreciation? How do you set up different types of depreciation, fixed asset depreciation? That's probably the one I'm looking for. And there's a whole lot of information on how depreciation works and how calculating depreciation works, etc. So you can follow through on Microsoft Learn, which is a really good resource. You can go to TVision's website, tvisiontech.co.uk. We have plenty of helpful webinars and videos like these with lots of tips. You can follow us on Twitter, on social media, where we've got some blogs with useful tips and ideas on using the system. And there's plenty of third-party help if you just go and search on Google or whatever search engine you prefer. There's lots of help for Business Central. And if you're really stuck, you can always phone the support team, and we're always happy to help you with whatever it is that you're getting stuck with on the system. So just to round up, if you do have anything, you can go to the website and look at our webinars and events to look at previous videos. If you've got a question, you can give us a phone call, or you can email us at bcsupport@tvisiontech.co.uk. Thank you for your time, and if there's anything else, please do get in touch. Bye.